Okay, hi everyone. This episode went over a little over 2 hours, and it was a lot deeper than either of us, either me or my co host, expected. And it deals with um, harrowing topics like childhood abuse and SA, also drug use and relationship stuff as well. So if some of this is triggering to any of you, we completely understand, and we advise going forward that you listen cautiously. um and that you also enjoy the episode. We enjoyed talking to our guest, and and like I said, we thought it was going to be one thing and it turned into something else. So we just want you to be advised. That's all. Please enjoy. Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of Nothing Off the Table podcast. I'm Chris,
And I'm Conchetta.
and today we have our friend um Stacy, also known as Alice Trips in the adult entertainment industry. She has a very colorful history, very colorful life, and we're here to talk to her about it as well as her career. So,
Yeah, it
yeah.
should be fun, guys. We should have a
Yeah,
lot to discuss and explore.
that's right. So, let us begin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. The normal jail calls, dealing with some family drama, trying to get my views up on Pornhub, typical things. um,
Oh,
Working on my move,
sounds
daily
very
life.
interesting.
Sounds all good. So jail calls, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was doing this thing where I was working on trying to be single for at least a year. I failed 1 month short of being single for a year. I ended up getting with this guy who has a rap sheet that's about as thick as an encyclopedia.
Wow.
But he treats me good. He treats me well. But he ended up using my car and running from the police in it. So that kind of landed him in jail. But after speaking to my lawyer, we found out it's actually linked to an open case that I have with a local police department. Um,
Mm.
yeah, a local officer around my age, I'm 36 for reference, tried to solicit me twice while he was on duty,
Wow.
and he did it through text messaging. I had met him on Plenty of Fish, so it wasn't like he thought it was a prostitute or something. But he did solicit me twice while he was on duty. And I had met a group of girls through Are We Dating the Same Guy? And turns out he had tried to solicit about 7 other women as well. But I was the only one that he did it while he was on duty. And upon, rejecting him, he would go, ballistic. And he knew me under another also went by the name Britt Powers, which was my generic white girl name on dating sites. Um, yes, yeah. It was Yeah, there's a long story with that in Reddit. We can get into that another time. But I went as Britt Powers, and that's what he knew me as. And he's from, a town I live in, and there's only, 8 cops there. So, I was terrified that, he would pull me over and realize my name wasn't Britt and go fucking ballistic. So, yeah. So when
Are
I
you
filed against him, he realized my name was not Britt, and I
That must
started
have been
getting
interesting.
harassed because they name dropped me to him. They let him know who filed the complaint, and I started to get harassed on Facebook and local police departments from nearing towns because there's only a mile difference between the towns. Started following my car. My sister was detained the same day my boyfriend was arrested. Her best friend was pulled over leaving the house where I used to live with her. because that was my last known address. Like, there's so many crazy coincidences going on because of that situation.
Wow,
So
that's really wild.
I kinda don't blame my boyfriend for not wanting to stop for the police while driving while black at 2 a.m. on side of a country road, where the cops here have known to be trigger happy.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and the wives, I don't know if you've heard of it, they had a story where a woman was shot and burned in her home, and her husband was the fire chief. There's a bunch of podcasts about her. That actually happened in my city. So, if they can get
Um,
rid of her, they can get rid of me.
so you say that there's podcasts about her. Do you wanna, like, say what the podcasts are, or you're
Yeah,
not
let me
comfortable?
look it
Okay, yeah.
up.
O
I looked it up
Hmm.
the other day. Yeah,
So, Stacy,
yeah.
while you're looking this up, your boyfriend ran from the cops, right? But they were
Mhm.
really after you.
Well, they were following my car.
Oh.
Um, so 2 nights before, an off-duty officer had followed us 40 minutes to my house through back streets, tailgating me so much I couldn't see out my front window. And before that, everywhere I would look, like, there would be cops following me, and it was weird because, like, okay, I was married to a cop for years, and I had only been pulled over one time, and it was the week I divorced him. And I had not
Mm.
been pulled over since then, and that was in 2019.
Do you think that was a coincidence that you divorced him and then you get pulled over, or
Um, I thought it was funny because when he pulled me over, I was like, "Oh my god, like, I'm sorry, I've been arguing with my ex-husband all night. Like, I didn't realize I was speeding." And the officer's response was, "I'm sorry I have to meet you this way."
Oh,
And
wow.
I was like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry I have to meet you this way too, sir. Can I have my ticket and leave?" Like,
Wow.
yeah. So, it's really good old boy town down here. It's
Are
not
you comfortable saying, like, where you live or no?
um, it's listed on my OnlyFans, and I can give you the parish I'm in. I don't wanna give the
Okay,
exact area. I am located in St. Tammany Parish.
okay.
That's yeah, it's a very general area, but I'm located in St. Tammany Parish. And those who know me, I'm sure as soon as I post this, because 'cause I'm gonna post it, they're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. But the good old boys in this town, they're very, very tight. And,
Right. That's how
it's
it
not
is in
un
small towns.
it's not uncommon for a Tangipahoa sheriff to harass someone coming out of St. Tammany Parish. And that's what's been happening. And once you're out of Tangipahoa, sometimes East Baton Rouge gets you, and they're all linked. They all know each other. They all go to school together. And, like, when I was with my husband, like, I'm not anti-police, okay? But when I was with my husband, I was such a proud police wife. Like, I never thought I'd be having this conversation because I never thought I'd be harassed by the police.
Right, that's crazy. You were
But,
like a Blue Lives Matter person.
like, no, like, okay, so when I was with my ex-husband, I was harassed by a gang called 3 and G, called Third and Galvez. They killed this rapper called
Okay.
Magnolia Shorty, which is very popular in the bounce scene. She yeah, she was big down here, but
Why were
they
you
act
harassed by a gang? That
because my ex-husband, when he was in the police academy, arrested their top gang members. And they came and tracked me down at my school, tagged my car, my apartment. I was being targeted.
So they were messing with you to get to him.
Yes, and he would work nights, and I'd be home alone. I had to learn how to shoot, like, an AR-15. I had bought a handgun. I couldn't carry at school, but, like, I had to let my teachers know, "Hey," like, they let me take my test at home because like, I couldn't go to school, advised by the gang units.
wow.
Um, When I
That
was
is
at
so
school,
scary.
I actually did call out one of the gang members in the middle of a crowd because it's like, "If you're gonna shoot me, fucking shoot me right here. Like, don't like, I'm not gonna be scared. Just fucking shoot me and get it over with," you know? Like,
Wow.
and nothing happened. But I was advised to move, and that's when we had actually moved 45 minutes away from where we were into a gated community with high
And then it
security.
stopped, or did they find a way to still track you?
They didn't find a way because it was in a gated community.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so we had to find we hid in suburbia, you know? Like, they're gonna know if a gang rolls up in suburbia. Like,
Right.
Right. S-
racism at its finest, you know? We
Right.
lived across the street from the police department that's now harassing me. So,
Wow.
where
Sounds like it was mostly scare tactics they were using on you.
they tried. Um, and in my house growing up, you couldn't be scared because you
Right.
got your ass beat. Like, yeah. But
Mm.
so back to like the Blue Lives Matter thing. In Louisiana, they passed a law called the Blue Lives Matter law to where they protect the families of the police officers in the incidents of gangs gangs coming after them and incidents to where like the families need protection, not just the officer. So that was past the year that happened. So I got all this extra resource because of that. So I can't sit there and be a hypocrite, you know? Because like it protected me even though I was just his girlfriend at the time because we lived together. But
Okay. I think that's a good thing to pass, right? I think every state or, anywhere they have this problem, they should probably do that.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
to protect the families. Um,
Right.
it's not because like he's with NOPD. They have the consent decree. And it's to protect not the criminals, but to protect the people from corruption. And that's why they have body cam footage, dash cam footage. They review everything. If there's an error in your footage, then you're actually punished because it's reviewed. Everything is reviewed. So, that's also why NOPD has a shortage right now because no one wants to work somewhere where they're constantly going to be like penalized, whether it's an accident or on purpose. But like I helped my ex-husband through the police academy and I was with him for years into his career. So I was that supportive wife, even
So
though he
when
was never
you
home.
say when you say that you helped him through the police academy, so you know a little bit about the process? Could
Yeah,
you
and
talk
I
about
also
that?
I've taken civil justice classes as well and policing classes in college. But yeah, I helped him through the police academy. So he would come home with binders upon binders of material. And whether it was codes, whether it was procedures, how to review body cam footage, whole 9 yards. Um,
Wow.
I would help him with all of it because who do you study with?
Right,
Like,
your
Yeah.
partner.
and I was all he had. He has no siblings. He's an only child. So we would study like it was a college course. And
Mm.
like I helped him get like he wasn't a cop when I met him. He was in the Air Force. He did military policing for like 10 years. But so I guess he was kind of a cop, but he was in the military. But
How do you go from a cop to somebody who has a record, like you say, a mile long or, as
oh
thick as
yeah,
your thumb,
encyclopedia long.
essentially? Yeah, right.
Okay, so I know it's total opposites of the spectrum. So
Yeah.
it's so weird. I I blew my boyfriend off like multiple times. Like, okay, he went viral for a hot mug shot, but I didn't know that until after we started hanging out. Like to me, he was just like, he's hot, whatever. Like we're gonna talk. He ended up knowing my family already, and like whatever. I kept blowing him off the first, like, 3 days we were supposed to hang out after we started talking, because I do that with everyone. I push guys to the point to where they're either like, "Fuck you," or they're gonna commit. Like, because if it's up
Okay.
to me, I'm just gonna hang out at home all day. I don't really feel like doing it. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Whatever."
So you make them chase you, basically.
Well, unintentionally, but yeah, yeah. I was like, "Whatever." Like, he texted me back, apparently he had lost service the first night we were supposed to hang out, and I was like, "No, no, it's like an hour later than the time we said, so I'm not gonna do this today." And he's
Wow.
like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's not the time we agreed on. So how about we do it tomorrow at an earlier time, like, during the day, and then we'll figure it out from there."
Huh.
So we
Okay.
agreed on an earlier time the next day, and, like, we hung out for, like, a week straight, and somehow I just kinda fell into a relationship. Oh my
Wow.
god. Like, he
Stacy,
did.
let me ask you a question, okay? Let me let me ask you a question. Um, since you have studied so much police academy material, can I just start calling you Officer Stacy by proxy?
Only if you wanna be handcuffed, Chris.
Okay. All right.
We
Well,
can play Mrs. Officer then. Where's the Lil Wayne song?
yeah, I'm
We
gonna
can
keep
cue
that in
that one?
mind. Right, right. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm
Um,
I'm I'm gonna put that away inside of my my little bag of tricks just in case I want to bring it out sometime in the future for you. So
okay. Yeah, for sure, and yeah, like, it was just I fall into these deep, dark holes of the internet to where, like, I over-research everything. So, yeah. So, anyway, back to, like, so we were hanging out for a week straight, whatever, fell into the relationship, and he's very open and honest about his past. So he was showing me, like, all the articles about his arrest because they're all fucking on the internet. I was like, "You can't be a normal person and get arrested in silence." Like,
Oh.
not everybody's arrests are published, you know?
right.
Um,
So what has he been arrested for?
um, everything from distribution of heroin to attempted murder.
Dude, what the absolute
Okay.
fuck? Don't you go
Wow.
to don't you go to jail for attempted murder? Like,
He did, he did. He's been in and
oh,
out since he was 18.
Jesus
Um,
Christ, Officer Stacy, I'm gonna have to say you're like on some love after lockup type
he
stuff
actually
now.
joked we need to apply for that show.
Okay.
And I was like, "We don't, though. I don't need people in my business like that."
Right.
I was like, "Let the internet knows too much about me already because 'cause I've been on there since I was 13."
Oh yeah, we
Right.
all do go way back, don't we?
And then I've been naked on there since I was, let's just go with 18 for legal reasons.
Wow.
Let's go with 18.
S
Um,
mhm. So you don't
Some
wanna be
wild
on that
times, man.
show, but you're on the podcast, which you know
yeah,
everyone's gonna hear, that people
yeah,
that you know are gonna hear. Okay.
Yeah.
and that's fine,
Okay.
that's fine. It's a lot different when people see you than when they hear you.
That's true.
Right.
It's you know what I mean? Like, I don't need cameras in my house 24/7. I can have a camera like, I could do a live podcast for 2 hours even and be comfortable, but I don't need cameras in my face 24/7. That's why I only do
Right.
content, like, once or twice a week because that's my max out time.
Right.
Like, I
So
get
can
it,
you
Okay.
girls
talk
can make 10 times as much as me, but they do it daily.
Mm.
Not me.
Okay. So can you
No.
talk a little bit about your content that you do? Like, how does that work? The mechanics of it?
You
Yeah,
know
How
what? We
you
okay.
should get a
find people?
background. We should get like a history of
Yeah.
how she even got started into this.
Okay, how I got
That's a
started,
good idea.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got started on AOL, of course,
Right.
like most people. Um, so I did my first cam show, though, in Yahoo chat rooms. So, back in the day when you used to be able to have, like, private chat rooms and you could pay entry in, kind of? Like, they had, I don't know how to describe it. It was they had this thing to where you could pay entry in. I made
Wow.
I made, like, $300 because they would let you have, like, 600 users sometimes. I made, like,
Wow.
$300 sleeping with an ex-boyfriend on cam for the first time at 18.
Yeah, that's like old school chatterbait, like
Well, yeah, that was
yeah.
Yeah,
ahead of its time, dude, allowing
yeah.
people to pay for entry.
So
That's
that's the
really
first time
cool.
I did that. Um, and then besides there, like, I would cam on AOL. Like, I would do private sessions with, like, random users, people out of the chat rooms I would regular in. Some of them would send me money, some of them wouldn't. They had a guy out of the Black Voices chat room who furnished my house. Um,
Wow.
there was a guy who I got into FinDom, which is financial domination. He was actually referred to me by another AOLer from Florida. She was like, "He creeps me out. Do you want him?" I was like, "Well, he pays well, so I'll deal with him." Uh, he would send me a check for, well, not a check, he would Western Union me actually, because that's how far back this was.
Wow.
$750 for a 15-minute phone sex session every
Oh
m
Mm.
my god.
I
and
mean, that doesn't seem too creepy to me. It just seems like regular stuff.
he did that with my ex-husband. Like, I went on a first date with my ex-husband and had fun with this guy in the car and went and picked up my money that same night.
What? Oh,
Yes.
man.
Yes, but he paid my bills. Like, what's he gonna tell me? Don't pay your bills." Like, "It's our first date. Are you gonna pay my bills for me? Or are you gonna let this guy pay my bills for me?" Um,
So you told your ex-husband what you were doing
yeah, I
or
was like,
no?
"Hey, I have to take this call, it's work." Like, "Be back in, like, 45 minutes." Like,
Wow.
yeah, either they accept it or they don't. And then the whole time I was married to him, I sold content. I sold private content, and he knew that. Um My OnlyFans was funded by the New Orleans Police Department. Shout out to
Okay.
them. Yeah.
What?
There's a
Wow.
couple of
So
officers who still buy my content, and they drop me some major tips between $100 and $500 each. So I started off with, like, $1,500 to start my OnlyFans.
that's
Um,
wild.
yeah, yeah, they funded it to start it. So that
And they
was
know your ex, and your
yeah,
ex was okay
they
with
work
it.
in neighbor my ex didn't know I was starting porn.
Oh,
Not
okay.
OnlyFans porn. He knew that I sold them content, though, when I was
Mm.
married to him. He knew which officers, just in case they had to work together. It
He
wasn't like a
knew which
secretive.
ones.
Yeah,
He
that
knew
way
them
it
by
wasn't
name.
yeah, yeah, and they would both text me, like, say they'd arrive on a crime scene together, they would both text me at the same time. "I'm on the scene with oh, I'm with your husband," or "So and so's here." And
How
I'd be
did your
like, "Be
husband feel
nice."
about this?
He
Okay, he
wouldn't
didn't
tell me
like it.
anything. He wouldn't tell me anything at all.
Mm.
So but it also ran, like, my house too. Like, I know it's not, like, legal, but, like, I had felons living in the house with us even though he's a cop. Um, that happened. And then, like, I also, so we got a divorce after he decided to be a cop and not my husband one night. I had gotten in a single
Okay.
car accident and ended up in a ditch because, like, the weather was bad. And I just got lucky because the fire truck was coming up my road that was, like, real it was full of curves and really dangerous, and it had just pulled someone else out of a ditch, and they seen me in a ditch and they pulled me out, and whatever, I hop out the car, I wasn't injured or anything, so whatever, I wait for the cops to get there, and they ask me for, like, my insurance, and I'm like, "Hold on, let me call my husband. He's at roll call, give me a minute." So I call my ex-husband, and I ask him about, like, our insurance policy, and then I start getting grilled by the police. Mind you, they've already been here for 30 minutes, and they're telling me, like, Oh, where's he an officer at? What is he doing? Who's, like, asking me about his rank and all this bullshit that has nothing to do with him, okay? And they're gonna take my phone and tell him she was either texting while driving or under the influence. Mind you, I had just worked 2 doubles. I was working 2 jobs, taking care of 2 kids because I was fostering at the time. And, like, they were telling my husband that I was under the influence. So when
Mm.
I get the phone back, he's like, "Why are you driving if you're under the influence?" I was like, "I just worked a double. How am I under the influence?"
Right, you worked a double and you just got into a car crash, like,
I
you
was like,
probably
"Thanks."
were in shock, you
Yeah. I
know?
was like, "Thanks for being a cop and not my husband. Sleep in your district tonight." And I hung up the phone. And I went
Okay.
home and I had a big ass party because I was supposed to go out that night. So I invited everybody at the bar I normally go to my house because I had this big ass 2-story house. Invited everyone over, got trashed, and didn't tell him I was having anybody over, and divorced him a week later
Girl, how do you go from an accident to a party all in the same night?
because I wasn't hurt. like,
Oh.
like what the
Oh,
fuck?
man.
Like, yeah, like clearly I wasn't hurt. Like I was
Yeah.
paying attention. I wasn't under the influence. Like my car was giving me issues anyway, but it took the ditch because the road was full of curves and stuff. And he chose to be a cop and not be my husband. So I chose to be single.
Damn.
And I
So
stuck to.
you slapped him with the papers. Did the divorce take long
It's still
or
not finalized because
Oh, wow.
so I lost my job um a while ago, about 8 months ago, and I haven't been able to finalize it because I've been broke. Mind you, he is one of the top paid officers in his department, okay? He just hasn't paid to get it done. And
Stacy,
like I've begged him to get it done, and he keeps saying he's going to get it done and he hasn't. And he has a new girlfriend of 3 years. I don't understand why it's not done.
wow.
And
You know
Well,
why?
he's supposed to be moving away to begin. So like he needs to shoo that away so he can actually have a chance to do it and not explain this when he goes
Listen,
in.
we live in the land of procrastination, okay? People procrastinate all the time.
But
But Stacy,
how do you forget to divorce your wife?
because let me tell you why. What you know what, Stacy? Whatever happened to death do us part? This man just
Um,
he didn't have your back one time and you were like,
do
yeah.
you know what our vows were?
What were your vows?
We rickrolled people. That was our vows.
You just send YouTube links to people just to
No, we
troll them?
literally he thought it would be hilarious to repeat the words back to each other to the song. So we
Oh,
rickrolled people at our fucking wedding. And a year later we got a divorce. So yes, we rickrolled our wedding. So yeah, yeah.
did people
wow.
pick up on that or no? Did they pick up on it?
They laughed. I have the video. They laughed at it. And like I said, we fucking yeah. Ha ha ha. Like shit happens. Um
Wow.
yeah, so I never promised till death do us part, never promised to be faithful, never promised under God.
That's
None of
true,
that
but
bullshit.
you guys did promise to never gonna give you up, never gonna let you go, or whatever the lyrics
Never
are to
gonna
the
let you down,
there you go.
or desert you, and I didn't. I
You
didn't.
deserted him when he didn't
No, I
even have your
didn't.
back one time, Stacy.
He didn't have my back, so I left. That means he deserted me. I didn't desert
Oh,
him. If
damn.
we're getting technical. So, I mean, literally, all he had to do was provide for me emotionally, and he, like, would have been overly compensated sexually. Like, he was already
So I
getting that.
feel like I feel like the reason why he's procrastinating with what he didn't sign the papers or what?
So,
Whatever it is, yeah.
he just has to pay the last fee. So I left. When I left, I never asked for a cent. Mind you, he comes from an extremely wealthy family.
Oh,
Like, his
girl.
parents are retired and making over $300,000 a year,
Okay.
retired. Um,
Are you
I think that
comfortable saying what they do?
his dad, is a geologist who used to find oil for the oil companies,
Okay.
and his mom she has a double degree. She was, a therapist and a geologist. So, yeah, and he's an only child.
Highly successful family.
Highly successful family. And I left and I didn't ask for a cent, and I paid for all but one payment on the divorce because I lost my job.
Now, did he beg you back or was he okay? Like, how
Yes,
did he
he
feel?
yeah. Oh, yeah. So, like, we never had an argument until I filed for divorce. When I filed for divorce, that's when, he got a bit hostile. He never put his hands on me, though. That's one thing I can say. He was never abusive. He never degraded me. Like, he never talked down to me. Like, he was pissed when I left. Oh, boy, was
Yeah.
he pissed.
I mean, come on. I would be too. Come on, Stacy. He made one mistake and you're just like, yeah, I'm out of here, bro.
Well, it wasn't one mistake, like, he was never there for me. I was raising 2 kids by myself
Oh,
after my mom died. Mind you, okay, so our first wedding, I married him twice in 1 year. Our first wedding was in my mom's hospice room, and she died 5 minutes later. And then our
Wow.
second wedding was 8 months later at a wedding venue I paid for. It was over $30,000 where he contributed maybe $100, and I paid for everything. My dad and I paid for everything
Why did you let him get away with paying nothing for this wedding?
because it wasn't up to him to do. If it was up to him and his parents, I woulda had a potluck. Literally 5 minutes so my mom died, the same day my mom died, his mom tells me, "Oh, well, I guess we can have that potluck wedding now."
So they did not like you.
No,
Is
I
that what
was
I'm
like,
getting
"We're
from
not
this?
having a fucking potluck." Like,
Okay.
man,
we're
that
not.
is rude of her to say.
That
It's
was
very
fucking
rude.
rude. Very
Yeah.
fucking rude. And then, it just so my father-in-law, he was more compliant towards me. He liked me. My mother-in-law did not like me at all. And I don't know why, because, like, I never did anything to hurt her son, like, I wasn't out cheating on him. I was, like, his ideal girlfriend, like,
It might be because
everything.
you're doing porn,
Well, no, this was before I did the porn, like, she didn't know about any of that.
Okay.
This was way before any of that. This was,
Yeah.
like, when we first like I said, I stopped doing the fin doming when I got with him. I did that last session during our first date, and I stopped doing that. And then I stopped selling content for a long time, and then I started selling it again when he stopped, supporting me, like, when I'd be like, "Hey, I'm not making enough money this week because I was in sales, like, I need to pay for this," and he would go out and buy a new gun or a new street bike.
Oh, wow, that's very passive aggressive, I
I'd be
think.
like, "Well, I need to make more money. I'm gonna start selling content again." And he'd be like, "Okay." And then he'd be like, "Hey, so and so sent me like $150 this week." He's like, "Oh, make sure you pay your bills."
Wait. Are you
Like,
two
so
just dating at that point or are you married already? Because it's like
no,
you should
we
be
were we
sharing.
were we were living together. We were
Oh,
living
okay.
together at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, we were living together at that point. Mind you,
So
we started
wait.
off as just fuck buddies, and then, like, my
Right.
mom had promoted him to my boyfriend. He was
Mm,
never supposed to be my boyfriend, he just was over all the time. And she's like, "Oh, he's your
right.
boyfriend." And I was like, no, he's not. Not yet." But she,
Not
like,
yet.
promoted him. Like, my parents always tried to control everything in my life, who I dated, what I did, everything. So, like, she promoted him to my boyfriend, and then when she got really sick and was, like, on her deathbed in the hospital, he went to her with a ring and was like, "I'm gonna propose." I ideally
Wow.
never wanted to get married,
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna ask you, like, if this guy's already throwing up red flags and you're just living together and he's leaving you to fend for yourself, why exactly
like, I was
would you?
never supposed to get married, but, like,
Hmm.
you're telling my mom on her death I didn't even know about it. So he proposed to me outside of this haunted mortuary that they turned into a haunted house because, like, I love all things horror, and, like, it was so cool. It was, like, a cool experience. But literally in the video, I'm gonna have to show it to you guys. I look at him and I go, "What the fuck?"
Is it okay if we post this video in the
Oh,
description
yeah,
notes?
yeah.
Okay.
And I go, "Are you serious? What the fuck?" Because I'm just, like, in shock, like, "Why'd you do that?"
Hmm.
Like, you know better. But then I call my mom, and she's, like, so excited, and everyone in my family's like, "Now you get to get married before your mom dies."
Wow, that's a
And I
That's
was
hefty
rushed
morbid.
thing.
and I
Yeah.
rushed to I was gonna get married in the church inside the hospital because we didn't know if she was coming home.
Uh,
And yeah, and I then they send her home for hospice. So I have 3 days to plan a wedding. So I do a shotgun ceremony in her hospice room, and she dies 5 minutes later.
wow. So would you say that she was the main reason that you decided to actually marry this man?
Well, he was a great provider overall. Like, he made sure okay, so we adopted my nephew, and he made sure my nephew has what he needs in life. He is a great provider, I give him that. He didn't provide to me specifically, like, when I needed bill money, he didn't give it to me, but, like, my nephew always has a house. Like, the house we bought when we got married, he gave to my nephew. When my nephew's
Wow,
car got
that's a
totaled,
very nice guy.
he
I mean,
gave my
that's a nice
nephew a
thing to
car.
do. That's a
Yeah.
nice thing to do.
I don't know if he's doing it as a way to, like, make himself feel better because he kinda does shit like that to make himself feel better. Because he was
Okay.
moving out of state with his girlfriend, and he's like, "I can't take care of the house." So he gave it to my nephew. You know what
Wow.
I mean? Yeah.
I can't imagine doing something like that just to make myself feel better. Hey, here's a house, buddy.
Well,
Enjoy.
so he was like I said, he was moving out of state with his girlfriend. Like, he was moving to the Midwest. We're in the Deep South. How is he gonna take care of this property? He's not gonna be able to. So he gave it
Right.
to my nephew. It
Stacy,
was
let me ask you, if you were to call this man tonight, or
Oh,
today or
he
tomorrow.
changed his number. I called him the other
Oh,
day to tell him about the incident with the police department in case it went public. He
so he
changed his
doesn't
number.
wanna he doesn't that's a little strange if he's giving your nephew,
Well, we legally
houses
adopted
and
my nephew together. Legally, that's
right.
his
Oh,
dad.
okay.
Um, but yeah, yeah.
It's funny, I had a friend from, your state, the deep south, and she said that's what happens is that houses get passed on through family, and you don't really sell them, and it's a thing that just happens there all the time. Nobody really
Yeah. Oh,
sells their
yeah.
homes.
Property just gets passed on. But what he's gonna do is just sell it to my nephew when my nephew's 25. My nephew is 21 right now.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so there is an end goal there for him because
How
his
much is it
credit's
worth?
building. The house, let me look it up on Zillow. Let me, because I want to give you a real number.
Okay.
That's
Like
right.
a
um,
We
rough
want these.
estimate.
Yeah, we don't want fake news around here. Okay.
we don't do fake
Uh-huh.
news here.
Yeah, we're not Fox News. You know.
Definitely not. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm very fortunate. Like, I was gonna raise my niece and nephew myself. I'm I do appreciate everything that my ex-husband did for me. Like, he bought this house, he helped me raise 2 kids, kinda, like, I wasn't doing it alone. Okay, so the house is worth 232,000 right now,
Okay.
and he basically gave that to my nephew as a Christmas gift.
Wow,
That is some Christmas gift.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. I'd be lucky to get a pair of shoes for Christmas when I was his age.
Right. Wow,
Or I mean,
yeah.
how old is he? I don't even know how old he
He's
is, but
21.
okay.
He's
Well, yeah.
21. When he first came into your life, though, he was, like, 6.
Oh, yeah, I do remember you
You
telling me
remember?
about
Because you
adopting,
told me
yeah.
how to hack his Wii or whatever
Yes,
for
I
the
do
first
remember that,
time.
yes.
Yes. Yes, you
Wow,
yeah, same little
good
guy.
times. Yeah, good times. 21 years old and already has a house. Wow.
Yeah. Here, I
So can
I
I
sent it to you.
ask
There's the
okay.
house. Um, so you guys can kinda see, what he's working with. But, yeah, it's
That's
my
a
life has been
cute house. That's very nice.
Yeah, yeah, we joked that it was like a horror movie house because that's what it looks like, an old farmhouse.
3
Let
bedrooms,
me
3
let me check this out.
bathrooms,
So you know what's funny? My Sims
1,500 square
actually
feet.
so when my ex-husband gave my nephew the house, it was in such bad condition, like, the yard was overgrown, the floors needed like, they had a hole in the floor. My Sims actually fixed up the house for free for OnlyFans
Your Sims.
subscriptions.
Wait, you
Yeah.
said you're simps?
Yes, they fixed up the house for OnlyFans subscriptions.
This girl said her simps. Oh, okay.
No, like,
You're
seriously.
wild. You're
They had a
wild.
guy drive 3 hours and do the whole front yard that was overgrown for OnlyFans subscriptions. And then they had another guy do the floors, like $1,000 of floors for OnlyFans subscriptions.
Wow.
And I'm sorry, my porn's not that great, not worth all that hard work. I think it's very vanilla, but, if that's what they want, I'll take it. It got my kid's
Well,
house fixed.
that's cool. I mean, look, I'll tell you this,
I'm
it
all
really
for
does look like a
bartering.
horror movie house. That's
I'm all
definitely
for
true.
bartering, I'm just saying.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah, I'll definitely barter. I can't be ashamed of the little bit of clout I have if it's doing things like that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And as for, like, the type of porn I do, so, like, the first stuff I started off with was very solo, very vanilla, very, very vanilla. Um, it was just, like, normal back shots because I started off on Reddit. Um, I had gone viral.
What was the subreddit?
Okay, so I had gone viral on Reddit for Tinder before I actually had a Reddit account for being a bitch. Uh, I went viral 3 times. So my username on Tinder was is bitchy. So I carried that over when I made my NSFW account as is bitchy, and I everyone always commented on my ass. So I went to a lot of ass focused subreddits and Um, like, almost every one of them, actually, I'm verified in. Like, Pog, I'm verified in all the Pog ones.
Pog, huh?
I'm a certified
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Right, right.
verified. I'm a verified Pog. Um,
I'm
I
not
do
sure
really
what that
well.
is.
Yeah, you wanna say what that is for all of our listeners?
You sure you don't wanna say it, Chris?
I mean, I can, but this is your career, so I think you should be the one
Yeah,
to tell everyone what a pog is.
okay. Oh, man. It's a fat-ass white girl, meaning, like,
Oh,
her ass is fat.
oh, okay.
Ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, we have a fat-assed white girl in here.
Yeah, like,
Let it be
it took me
known.
a minute to get verified. Okay, they make you do, like, 5 different pictures of all angles, like, you have to be natural, you can't be photoshopped, you can't bend a certain way when you take pictures.
Yeah, you
Like,
can't have a
they are
BBL.
no, like, they are hardcore on you, and it took me, like, a week to get verified in some of those subs, and I was like, "Are they serious? Like, is it gonna be worth all this?" Like so I got verified in all the Pog, subreddits. That took a minute. And then I did, like, the nerdy ones, like, the sexy nerdy subreddits. I do, like, the high sock ones because those are easy to get karma on. Um, I got the most karma, though, through giving sex advice. Like,
Okay.
that's, like, my specialty, just giving sex advice. And, lately, slutty confessions, even though I keep getting my stuff taken down on slutty confessions because they keep telling me, like, it's fake, that my stories aren't real. And
Really?
I'm like, "No, that's my real life. I
So
live
what are
that."
they saying that's fake? Can you tell us
Like,
the story?
oh, yeah. This one's fucking horrible. Okay. So, one night, um, my tire went flat, whatever. I needed it changed. So, I met this guy on Bumble, and he's like, "Hey, I'll change your tire for you, whatever. Let me pick you up. I'll go change your tire." So, he picked me up. He went with me to get a spare tire. He changed my tire. We fucked in his truck twice. And then I went and hung out with him that afternoon at his apartment. I didn't realize his apartment was actually, like, 4 apartments down from my ex-husband, okay? Um, Whatever. I hang out with him that afternoon, invite a friend over. She invites a friend over. We end up fucking in his apartment pool that's centered in front of all the apartments. So you can literally see everybody can see what's going on in, like, the whole entire apartment complex. And this is like 2 a.m., so you're not even supposed to be in the pool in the first place. I'm rolling fucking balls, like, I've taken so much Molly, like, I don't even know how I'm functional at that point, and I didn't realize
Fun.
it, but he was on fucking meth, okay? I didn't know.
How did you
This
find out?
motherfucker pulled a shotgun on me,
Okay.
and the police got called that night, okay? Like, we're at, like, a standoff in his fucking apartment,
Yeah.
and
Stacey, how did you find out that he was on meth?
because I looked down and he's doing a fucking rail, and I was
Oh,
like, "What the fuck? Like, you live in a gated community, why are you doing meth?" Like,
Somebody pulls a shotgun on you for no reason, they're generally probably usually on something.
yeah,
Probably meth.
I was like, "You're not
Was
on
it was it
fucking
was it
Molly."
for no reason?
It was for no reason.
Yeah, okay.
He wasn't on Molly, like,
Did he get
obviously.
paranoid or anything?
He was very paranoid. He was
Okay,
freaking the fuck out, and
okay.
it apparently triggered his PTSD. He had some childhood trauma, but, like, I didn't know about that. Obviously, I just met him earlier that day. But, yeah, literally 4 doors down from my ex-husband's, being held at gunpoint here. 4 apartments down from my ex-husband, who's not home, by the way. My ex-husband left going to work. I seen him earlier that day heading out to work, so I knew he wasn't there. And so he kicks me out of his apartment after I begged for my cell phone back so I could at least, like, call the cops if I needed to, you know? And one of the neighbors called the cops because he kicked me out on his balcony and they could see the shotgun.
That is
So
so scary.
one of the neighbors called the cops. And yeah, it's fucking wild. That wasn't the
So
first
when
Stacey,
loaded
you
gun I've had held to me though. So
was it a loaded shotgun?
yes, because the whole
Okay.
time he's clicking it, like, that's how I knew he had a shotgun. Because like, on Molly, like, you can hear everything, like, 10 times
Yeah,
normal, and all I heard was him click the shotgun, and I looked over and I said, "Holy fuck." Like, it was like living in a movie, okay? And I was like, "This did not happen. What the fuck's going on?" And the girl I'm with is screaming at him the whole time. She's like, "Imma fucking kill you." Like, she tries to get
that's
it out
not
of
the
his
way to go.
hands, and I'm
That's
like,
not the way to go.
"No." And I'm almost talking him down, and she's getting hostile, and I'm trying to talk him down, and she's like, "Just pack your shit and go," and he's like, "Just fucking go." I'm like, "I'm not leaving till I get my stuff. I need my phone. Let me get my phone so I can at least get the fuck out of here, okay?
For fuck's
Like
sake, man.
just let me get my shit, you know? And I'll gladly leave. Like, it's not that difficult because 'cause I'll never talk to you again once I leave."
Man,
So,
so this guy went from helping you with your car to getting a
to
pog to putting a gun in your face.
yes.
But, like,
in
what
less than 12
happened?
hours.
Were you guys arguing for him to just whip a gun out?
No,
Like,
no. He said that, his PTSD got triggered.
From
oh,
what?
So, like, okay, so he's a sub, okay? He's very submissive, and
Mhm.
he laid out, like, everything needed to be submissive, like bed straps and everything, and that triggered his childhood trauma from when he was kidnapped. So he triggered
Okay.
his own trauma
Yeah,
because
well,
he was
it's the
on meth.
meth, probably,
Because he was
yeah.
on meth, yeah. And so now I have a very strict rule. I don't fuck with anybody who does meth. Like,
I mean, how would you know?
exactly. Like, yeah. So, like, if I even talk to someone, like, on Reddit, especially, like, you can see where they commented. If they're in any spun groups, I just don't talk to them. Um, like, I have very, very strict rules, or I'll be like, "What drugs do you do?" Like, I need to know, like, for very personal reasons, or I'll pretend like I wanna get high with them and see what they tell me. Um, because I can't risk that. It's
So
like, I'm very
after that experience with you doing Molly with this guy and whatever, when you meet up with these men, do you still do drugs with them if offered or no?
normally, I'll bring my own drugs if I wanna
I
do
see.
drugs. It's
Okay.
safer that way. It's a lot safer that way. And, like, I'll normally send my location to certain people. Like, I hate that I don't have Snapchat anymore because I used to have, like, a custom list that I would just send my location to. Um, but I'll send my location, the address I'm going to certain people. I do have Life 360 now, so I do use that to send my location so they can see, like, when I'm moving, like, exactly where I'm at. Because I was almost kidnapped in February. So,
By one of these men?
um, so they had these guys who I rejected send me pictures on Snapchat from outside of my house and outside of my job asking why I wasn't at those locations. And this was after my car had been wrecked and I was getting rides to work. So the only way they would know that I wasn't at work or weren't at home is if they were stalking me. So it was kind of scary when you're getting messages from 6 different people sending you different angles of your house that can't be found on the internet, and your job that's not listed on the internet, asking why you're not there, especially
Stacy, that is absolutely terrifying.
when you didn't give them that information. And yeah, I didn't give them that information.
And this is because you rejected them.
Yes, yes, gotta love incels.
So did you rejected them because you can sense that they were creepy?
No, no, like, we had matched on Tinder, like, conversation was dry. It wasn't all there, like, the attraction, the chemistry, it just wasn't all there. I did hook up with one of them once, and then I got really busy with work. I was working 6 days a week. He took it personal, and he was one of the ones who did the stalking. He helped give out my information, and he was very young. He was what was he, 20? And all of these men are in
Okay.
the National Guard. So, yeah, yeah, they're all national. So that didn't go any better. My family took it
No.
personal and they cut me off. A lot of my
What
family stopped.
your family cut you off?
Yeah, they were like, "You're basically a hazard."
Wow.
Like, yeah,
That
I
is
couldn't
I
find
don't
work
even know what
after
to
that.
say.
I couldn't find work after that because the company I worked for, they called my job and told them that I was sneaking men inside my job, even though I wasn't. but my boss didn't wanna research it. In Louisiana, you can fire people for whatever, and he just fired me
Right,
because it was
right.
easier, and, like, I lost my job, and that company owns over 32 businesses locally, so I'm
What was
basically
your official
blacklisted.
job?
Um,
Yeah.
I I had a marketing job. I helped market, like, over, like, 40 dealerships across the US, and, yeah, I lost my job, and I hadn't been able to get hired down here. I had, like, an opportunity with NASA, and that contract ended up falling through due to personal reasons, but,
What would
um,
you be doing with NASA?
tech support.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be doing level 2 tech support. So, they told me I can reapply in a year, but it was
You
over
would be
some bullshit.
doing you kinda cut out. You would be doing low tier tech support, is that
No,
what you said?
level 2?
Level 2, okay.
Yeah,
And what is
yeah,
that?
it's like mid-tier tech support, so it'd be like help desk. I'd be able to work on all levels, so I'd need top security clearance, so I didn't pass one of their requirements. It has nothing to do with, like, my background check or anything. It it was just, like, some petty bullshit that involved my finances at the time, and at the time that I applied at NASA, I didn't have my OnlyFans yet. So I was still trying to catch up on being unemployed for 3.5 months. So I didn't have the finances to fix my problems, to move forward with the whole process there.
Right.
So if I paid off my debts, I would be working at NASA.
So, Stacy, let me ask you this, right? Like, when it comes to NASA, what exactly are you doing tech support for? Like, you're trying to help them figure out why a rocket is not launching? Like, what?
No,
Like,
it
they
would
don't
just
sell
be
anything. So, like, what exactly do
no,
you?
it's tech support. It's like computer problems.
Oh,
So, yeah, it's help desk. It's say they're having software issues. That's all it is, software issues.
oh, so it'd be like a kind of like a department of IT.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's
Okay.
literally IT. And
Okay.
it's level 2, so I would handle, the escalated situations. So the difficult situations that
Oh,
normal people couldn't handle. Um, so it was the easiest interview of my life, and they were like it was 5 minutes long. And they were like, "Hey, so we wanna offer you the top amount we can for our contract, because they hire you on as third party first, and then after your 1-year contract's up, then they directly hire you through NASA." So I was offered the third party contract first, and
oh,
that was so easy. Like, they looked at my resume, and they have, like, the questions they ask, like, you have to get their answers right or as close to right as possible. And I got everything right, except for one answer, which was Google, because I've never had to Google a problem to fix it in the tech support world. Like, at least in my experience with the
right,
questions they were asking me. And he's
right.
like,
So,
"Oh,
like,
if the answer was Google and you got that one wrong, that just means you didn't have to use it. So we're just not gonna worry about that one."
oh,
So
so
what are your
like,
skills?
yeah, yeah. What are your skills?
I was an Apple master for about 2 years, which means, just software. Apple trained me in software on their watches, phones, not on their laptops, just and iPads. So they trained me on those. I did that for 2 years while I sold cell phones. Of course, I have, like, a Windows background. I feel like everybody has a Windows background.
Yeah,
I
growing
have
up on the
Right.
some
internet.
yeah, I have some Linux experience. Um, so I have that. And then, like, I learned really quick. And then during COVID, I took cybersecurity courses, I do need to finish those. But I took some cybersecurity courses. I have IT analytics experience. Let's
Okay.
see, what else? I have
Damn,
more, hold
Stacy.
on. I have more. Um,
Your portfolio is pretty massive, huh?
my resume is 4 pages long. Hold on, let me see.
Damn.
And then as far as customer service, I have okay, we all know I worked at GameStop for 6 years. Um,
I did not know that.
yes, I was a GameStop employee for 6 years. I didn't fuck my way to the top, so I didn't get promoted. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's I got
Is
some
that how
stories
it
for
works
you.
at GameStop? Okay.
We can have a whole show about GameStop. Don't
Oh,
worry.
I remember when
Uh,
you worked at GameStop. Ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen, this woman bought me a Switch when they were, like,
yeah.
very
Impossible
hard
to
to get.
get.
Yes, this was almost when
Impossible.
they first came out, yeah.
Yeah, right after I got mine.
Yeah,
The
that was
first one
really
I had.
cool.
But, yeah, I have some GameStop stories. I actually had a stalker at GameStop. Um, yeah, that was a whole fucking mess there.
I bet a I bet a lot of creeps come through, right? On
The
GameStop.
majority of my customers were great. They
Mm,
really were. And my coworkers were so much like family. Like, I
okay.
loved the majority of my coworkers, with the exception of, like, 2 of them. I had this one coworker, though, oh, man, he was a fucking creep. He was creepier than any customer that came in.
How so?
Like, he would hit on every employee that was a female. He would make inappropriate comments about teenagers. He had teenagers older than the girls he was commenting about. He was balding, wore glasses. His teeth were, like, on the verge of falling out. Like, it was a shit show. Like, he creeped everyone out.
Sounds like a straight up pedophile
Oh,
or
yeah, like, I had to request not to work shifts with him because he creeped me out. And we just didn't
okay.
get along. Like, he tried to get me fired after my mom died. I was like, "That's a scumbag move."
Wow.
Yeah, that's a fucking scumbag there. Yeah. But, but
Unreal.
on my resume, like, I have, customer service experience, like call centers. Um, yeah, like, I used to manage Target techs. That was fun, working inside Target stores.
How long did you do that for?
I did that for about 8 months. I would train people at different locations, and then I managed a store.
Hmm.
So, I would travel all the way from, like, Louisiana to Florida to train people. And then, um, yeah, I managed a store. But what they didn't tell me is while I was doing training, girls inside my store were stealing iPhones.
What?
They
How does
yeah, the 2 female
how?
employees that worked under me got fired for stealing, like, 4 iPhones. Yeah,
Man.
yeah, nobody told me that until after I came back from training one day, and I was like, "Well, that's what happens when you take me out the store the whole time." And then one of
Yeah,
my
for
former
real.
employees, God rest her soul, Q, um, she came in tripping on shrooms one day. So she was vegan, she didn't shower, um, she was she was a mess, but she ends up getting murdered while she was pregnant, um, about 4 months after I fired her.
She got murdered.
Yeah, there was a double homicide outside of a wildlife area, not too far from me. Apparently, like, her boyfriend was a drug dealer, and she had gotten pregnant. It took 5 people to set her up, and she got murdered 4 months after I fired her.
Oh
And you
man.
fired her? Why? Because she came in on shrooms?
She was having a panic attack on shrooms, sitting
Oh,
on a floor, rocking back and forth. It was like, "If you're gonna come in on drugs, be functional. I don't care that you're high." Just be
Couldn't
fucking
you
functional.
Oh my
couldn't
god.
you have just sent her home and
I
then
did. I
yeah,
sent her home, and then she came
but then you
back the next
fired her?
time. She came back the
Oh.
next time high.
Oh.
Like, she was purposely like, we've had constant problems with her leading up to her getting fired. Like, I would let my employees go smoke their weed in the car. Just don't come in the store smelling like weed.
Some people are just not functional in society, and
Like,
they're
if they
just
had their,
incapable
like,
of it.
dab pens, like
Right.
the vape pens, like, hit that shit, just don't do it to where, like, managers can see you.
So do you think it
Like,
was her goal to get fired? Like, is that what she
she
wanted?
was very destructive. She was very self-destructive, so she was constantly on a spiral, so it could have been, but, like, she was good-hearted, but she was one of those she was very young. She was, like, 19 when she worked for me. She thought she knew everything, couldn't tell her shit, you know? And I'm like, just come in here and do your job, please. Like, that's all I want from you. You're only working 4 hours. Just do your fucking job and go home." Like, you coulda tripped
Yeah.
on shrooms after you left work. Like, come on.
Right.
And she's like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, now, like, you're causing a problem that the target managers are coming up to me and asking why you're sitting on the floor shaking. Like, now I have to explain this. Like, don't do this to me. You're putting me in a position. Like, I don't
Yeah.
wanna do that shit. Like, I don't care what you do in your personal time. Just act right. Like, and all of a sudden I was watching the news and her face popped up and they said she was killed in a double homicide, her and her boyfriend. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
Yeah, and then, like, the guy I had one male employee that worked for me the whole time, and he has, like, a farm now. Like, I follow him on TikTok. He has, like, a whole farm now. I think he subscribes to my OnlyFans too.
Hey, he probably does.
I think he does, but he has, like, a whole ass farm. He's doing pretty well.
How come
And
you
then,
don't want to farm, Stacy?
growing up, I basically lived on a farm. I had chickens, I had geese, I had a fainting goat, I had pigs. They traumatized me, and they named my pigs Thanksgiving and New Year's and slaughtered them.
And you had
Um,
them for Thanksgiving and New Year's?
yeah, yeah.
Did
So
Wow.
now
you,
I did
say you
not
had
eat them.
a fainting goat? Is that what you said?
Yes, I had a goat that, like, when he would get scared, he would faint. He
Oh,
ended up
that's
getting eaten by a
adorable.
coyote, though, because he fainted, because
Oh,
that's their, like,
oh.
tactic. It was like, who does that? Why would you put him by the woods? Like, why? Why who does that? But I wanna get, like, a pygmy goat eventually, but I can't get that if I live in the city. So, uh,
I
I don't
heard they
know.
get big. Even the pygmies, I heard they get huge.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, I used to work for a company that does emotional support animals. Like I told you, I did their customer service. I could probably get it as, like, an emotional support animal.
So
When
I
like
wanna ask sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, like, if you've heard about the alligator in Florida, we were the company that did that.
I didn't hear about that. What is that? The
That
alligator in
sounds
Florida?
familiar. That actually sounds really familiar. Like
Yeah,
I
there
read
was
it.
an emotional support animal alligator in Florida. One of our one of the company I work for, our mental health provider approved of that alligator. Yeah, and
Gator.
we have certified mental health providers, this company that I worked for. So they're all licensed. They follow very strict rules because it's owned by lawyers. And yeah, I'm talking like I still work there because it's something I'm passionate about. Like, I was
So what were the,
yeah.
the qualifications that the alligator had to have? Like, what
Oh,
made
it's
him
for
an
emotional support. It had to benefit the person in an emotional way.
so I mean, I thought, like, emotional support animals, like dogs, had to be trained in a
That's
certain
just
way.
dogs. That's a service
That
animal.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, and it's only a only dogs can do that, and horses. Only
So
dogs
let
and horses.
me I didn't know about the horses either. So let me ask you, I want to go back to the girl, the poor girl who was murdered. Did they find the killers or no?
Yeah, yeah, they found
They
out
did.
who killed her and who set her up. It was 5 people, and they
Right, you
were
did say
from the
that. Yeah.
age of 19 to 40.
Oh,
And I was like, "Why would you kill, like, a 22-year-old," or whatever, however young she was at the time, who's pregnant? Like I get it, it's drugs, whatever, but, like, it took 5 people to kill her
are
and
you
her
comfortable
boyfriend?
saying her name in
She went
case we
by
ever want to look
Q.
it up?
She went
Q.
by Q. Her name was Qle, Qle.
Okay.
Um, yeah, this happened in Lacombe.
Okay.
It was a
QLE.
yeah.
Hmm.
It was very tragic for the area, because you never wanna hear like, we're not an area where a lot of people get killed. Well, I mean, New Orleans is, but not my area specifically. So that was kinda like a big thing. Here, I found the article for you. Oh, I lied, it wasn't 4 people, it was 6 people. So that's even worse.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they were indicted with first-degree murder and first-degree feticide, and she was 21, and her boyfriend was 20.
Definitely gonna be
So,
putting this in the show notes below. After the
That is
murder of a
wild.
man, pregnant woman in Lacombe, 6 suspects are indicted.
So
Oh
Stacy, let me
man.
ask you this, right? Because I know you said that the guy, the shotgun guy, it had PTSD. Let me ask you, do you have PTSD from all of these things that you've gone through
um, okay,
throughout
so
your life?
I do have PTSD from so when I was younger, I was raped a few times, so I have PTSD from that. I was raped and roofied as a virgin. Um, so yeah, I have PTSD from that. Um, I also had an incident at 16 where I was raped. Haven't I get triggered from that. And then I was raped a couple of times after that by different guys as well. But that doesn't trigger me as much because you become immune to it after some time. And it sucks, but you become immune to it.
Do
But
you th that is horrible. I am
Awful.
so
Yeah,
sorry.
that's
I'm so
awful,
but
sorry
man.
that happened to you.
when I was around 18 or I wanna say 19, this was right before I moved to New York. I was seeing this Arab guy who owned a hookah cafe. Um, he actually kidnapped me for 3 days and brought me back on Easter because I told him my family would realize I was gone. And I came back looking bruised and beaten. He basically held me as a sex slave for 3 days. And I wasn't allowed to leave the house, and I was only allowed to go to the hookah cafe if he was with me, and that was it for 3 days.
Stacy, where do you find these guys?
I actually met him on AOL.
No way.
Yes, yes, I met him in the New
What
Orleans chat room.
are you comfortable saying his screen name, if you remember
I
it?
don't remember it, but he went by Alex, which is ironic because that's my ex-husband's name. But, yeah, of course, Alex wasn't the Arab guy's real name, but that's just what he went by. Um, and then I had one of the guys who raped me was a guy I've known since elementary school, and he told me he was gonna kill himself. So I went over to his house to try and, help him, and in full on, whatever the fuck he was on, he held me down and raped me. And when I confronted him about it after he got out of rehab, he's gonna tell me I was lying, and his mom threatened to sue me.
Wow.
And this is, like, a full-blown addict who was in and out of rehab. Like, I
Mm.
have no reason to lie. You know what I
I
mean? Like,
really I really don't understand these mothers because, like, I've seen them many times. Their son can do the most horrendous things, and they will say, "Not my son. Didn't happen. Don't wanna hear it. I
Yeah.
will go to the ends of the earth. I will pay whatever money I need to pay for whatever lawyers or whatever
and then we had, like,
to."
mutual friends who were
They're
like
in denial.
well, we had mutual friends who were like, "Oh, hey, I'm here if you need to talk about anything." And I went to this mutual friend, okay? And he's gonna say, "Not my boy. I don't know how he is with girls, but my boy would never do that." I was like, "Then why'd you tell me if I ever needed to talk, you would be there for me? Like, just for you to not my boy."
Mm.
Like, I was like, "Okay, whatever." So what I did is I went to his cousin, who was a very good friend of mine, who knows how I am and knows I wouldn't lie about that. And I told his cousin, who's now deceased, God rest his soul, and his cousin went over and beat his fucking ass. And he ended up relocating after that. So, yeah.
Can I ask, this is, like, I don't wanna upset you, right? So, but so you say you were raped multiple times, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that that happened to you, right? I'm so sorry. But, like, I'm just curious, like, do you feel, because I read a theory before, and I've actually seen, like, rapists that were caught, like, in prison talking about how they choose their victims. Like, they say the victims put something off, like they were abused before, so they can be abused again. They it could be anything from the way that they walk, talk, carry
So
themselves,
I definitely
anything.
feel like yeah, so okay. I feel like because I was in a position to where, like, I dealt with so much mental abuse and physical abuse at home that it made me an easy victim for people who
Mm.
want to take advantage of me. And then not saying that that happens because rape is rape because they like to. That's
Well,
what
it's
they do.
about power. It's
It's a
about power
power.
for
It
sure.
is. And, like, that's what
But they
happens.
choose their victims, right?
They choose people they
They'll
think
choose
they can
them.
take advantage of. And I've had an ex who used to rape me, and I left an abusive situation and ended up in another abusive situation. And for me, like, I noticed so after I left this very last relationship so my mom died and my dad disowned me, and I felt fully empowered after I left this last relationship where I was done. Like, I could be myself, I got into porn, I felt fully empowered. Like, nobody could tell me shit because I had nobody to be ashamed of me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, anything I did, it was for me, you know? Like, because I never had that control in my life before. I was never single for longer than like 6 months in my life. Everyone tried to control every aspect of my life. I've never had control like that. And I went crazy. Like, if I tell you guys how many people I slept with this year, it's cringy. But
Tell
like
us.
I spiraled.
Tell us,
I s-
Stacy. We would like to
I
know.
I slept with 70 guys this year so far.
And this is all
And you think,
for your content, or is this for pleasure
No,
as well?
no. Most of it's been for pleasure.
so
Most
is
of
Mm.
them
this a
did them, so it
way,
wasn't very pleasureful. But it's the fact that like
um
I can do it because I want to.
yeah, it's a
Mm.
way of getting control
Getting
back.
power back. Like, if I wanna sleep with 5 guys in one day, I can. If I wanna sleep with 1 guy for 2 months, I can. I make those decisions, and I never got to do that before. Like, in high school, I never got to go to parties. I was only allowed out 3 hours a day on Friday, 3 hours a day on Saturday if I left the house, and I had to
So
leave
you
the
were
house with
super
somebody.
controlled, super
My
abused.
parents used to move my exes in with me, so they had control over the situation.
Hmm.
By the time I was a sophomore, I already had one boyfriend living with me. By the time I graduated, I already had 2 exes live with me.
So that they can
Man.
manipulate and control and
Control the situation.
right.
So, yeah, so yeah,
So
that's
no
not
wonder you
normal.
went crazy a
I
little
went crazy
quicker.
now, being 36 years old, finally getting freedom.
No, that makes
Like
sense to me.
like,
Yeah, I had a very
finally
controlling
finally
childhood.
getting freedom, yeah, and then, people ask me if I was sheltered, or they try and say like, "Oh, well, they just did that to protect you." I didn't
No.
need the protection because I already went through the situations where I was forced to grow up, so I didn't need
Right.
protection.
No, no, no. That was just about keeping you young, infantilizing. That's probably not the word, but infantilizing you
Well,
and
and then, like,
about abuse.
my mom also would my mom would con the fuck out of guys. She would send guys, like, my nudes and then have me talk to them
Wait,
and
wait.
get on
Your
cam
own
for them.
mother. Wait.
Yes,
Your own mother
as
would
young
send
as
people.
16. As young as 16.
Oh
So
no.
that's illegal.
That's
I mean, she's
100%
dead
illegal.
now, but, I thought this was all shit I made up in my head,
So your
and
mother was on AOL
yes,
scamming guys. Okay.
yes, and there were guys who were obsessed with my mom. One guy came all the way over here from Maine and would drive past my house.
And they thought that your mother was you. She was using your pictures and your
Yes,
images,
and I
and
mean, my
you would
mom was a very beautiful woman, but she did not want these guys to know who she was, so she used my pictures.
Wow.
Yeah, and one of those guys actually found me on my old the now banned Instagram I had where I had, like, partially nude pictures, and he popped up as a suggested friend, and it was like, there's no way this person should be suggested to me at all because I don't have his number. No one I know knows him. Just my mom did, and she's dead. She's been dead since 2019. So, he must have been, like, scoping me out, and I had to block him. Because I yelled at the top of my lungs, like, I that triggered my PTSD.
of course. Of course.
Like,
Yeah.
So my question is, your mother did all these horrible things, and so I'm just wondering, do you miss your mother? I mean, you
I
must.
do, so,
Yeah.
like, my it's a very weird relationship, so, like, when my mom died, she was my best friend. Like, my parents gaslit the fuck out of me. They made me believe, like, all the bad things that happened to me were made up. Like, I can't decipher memories and dreams sometimes. Like, I was having this talk with one of my brothers the other day. Like, he has, like, really good childhood memories, he has no issues with this stuff. I can't decipher memories and dreams. He like, yeah, I can't though.
Like
So
the
do you think
difference
it's a bit
between
of
memories and dreams?
Yeah, like, say if I you know how some people will have, like say you go to sleep and you have a memory pop up, like, in a dream, or you think
Yeah.
of something and you're like, "Was that a dream that I thought about, or was that a memory I thought about?"
Mhm.
I can't tell the difference. So if I'm like, "Huh, was that a dream that I'm thinking about, or is that a memory?" I don't know the difference.
So,
And it's been that way,
okay.
like, my entire life, and I would ask, like, my mom about it, and she'd be like, "Oh, that was a bad dream you had. I never did that."
Hmm.
But then again, most narcissists block out the trauma they induce. Like, I talked to my ex that used to abuse me. He claims he has no memory of the abuse.
So are you saying, I've been the victim of narcissistic abuse multiple times with family members and also outside of the family dynamic. Are you saying that narcissists have no recollection of the things that they do? Because I don't buy it. I think they just
I don't buy it
lie.
fully. I think that they tap dance around it. They know, but they don't wanna admit it.
I think it's a
Um,
little bit of both because my friend's mom
like,
used
it's
to do the
fuzzy
same
for
thing.
them. Like, I think it's
Uh,
fuzzy for them. Like, when you get drunk, how people get angry drunk sometimes? Like, I think it's fuzzy for them. Like, they know they're angry or they know they're doing it, but they don't fully know they're doing it because
yeah,
it's natural to them.
right. And they also don't think it's as bad as other
Exactly,
people
it's natural to
who
them.
remember it are telling them.
So,
'Cause
like,
my
to them,
friend's
it's
mom
just
used to,
Monday. To me,
yeah.
like, first time I did ecstasy, I rolled with my ex-boyfriend, and he told me I was a slut who deserved to kill myself, and I cried for 6
Wow.
hours.
My
You know what
God.
his memory of that is? "Do you remember
What?
when we rolled and I didn't roll with you and you were up all night?" That's his memory of that night.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
that's his memory of that night. And I'm like, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Really?" 'Cause, like, I made him subscribe to my OnlyFans so he could talk to me because I found out he was cyber stalking me through Reddit after he, clicked the follow button on my Instagram. So I had a whole conversation with him because I wasn't sure how that was gonna go after we had been broken up for 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got a lot of insight on how, like, narcissists think because he's a very textbook narcissist. And I believe that I am a child of 2 narcissists. I mean, my parents were very young when they got married, they were in an open relationship. Neither
There's
one of
always an
them were ever
excuse.
wrong.
There's always an excuse of why an abuser will do what they do, especially a narcissist. I've heard many times I was young. I had you when I was not my
"Oh,
mother.
yeah, I was young,
Um,
I was protecting you." Like, my mom was on her deathbed, and she's like, "I'm sorry," like, she always blamed herself for my rapes. And it was like, that's not why I got raped. Like, you need to apologize for other shit, not the rapes."
she
Like,
doesn't want to apologize for things that she's done. She wants to apologize for other from what other people have done, but it kind of also like absolves her from the horrible shit that she has personally done
yeah, and I was
because she
just like,
can't face it.
yeah, I was just like, "I love you," it's my mom, like, I love her, always will, but it's like, I'm having issues dealing with the memories that came back. Like, her birthday just passed, and this is the first time I've been
Oh.
sober, and I've been, like, super depressed about it because it's like, how do you deal with that? The fact that the person you thought you knew isn't the person you knew, and you can't confront them. Like, you can't ask them any questions.
Yeah, so it's like you get no closure.
My answer is I'm gonna do some DMT, and hopefully that helps. But
Um, my boyfriend, my current boyfriend, he's done DMT many times, and I've done it a couple of times, but he's actually broken through. I have never broken through.
so,
And
like,
he
when
lost his mother at a very young age. He was like 21 or something. He loved his mother. They were super close. And he said that when he one of the times that he did the DMT, he could actually see like he couldn't see her face or anything, but he could like kind of see her image sort of through the
so,
DMT.
like,
Like he felt
I
her
did,
presence or spirit.
um so when I had my breakthrough on shrooms, I had done ecstasy, popped some Addy, and then I was on shrooms for 11 hours and did about 6 grams, and that's when I hit my breakthrough, and this was
And
after I
what
was
was that like?
unemployed,
What was
and
that
it was
like?
amazing to hit a breakthrough and know that those memories weren't dreams for me, that I wasn't fucking crazy, you know?
Okay.
And my brother and my sister-in-law verified that I wasn't fucking crazy, and that helped me a lot, but it's like, where do I go from here? And I don't think therapy would help because I don't have years to go through therapy. Let me explain 20 years to you, you know what I mean? Um, I feel like DMT might be what I need just to help me get through it because I just need a mental release. And I feel like that may be the release I need, just a reset button. Because, like,
You
I
know
have
what's very
no
good?
negative feelings. Like, I don't have hatred towards my mom. I don't have
Good.
hatred towards my dad who disowned me. Like, I really don't. I don't even have hatred towards my ex-best friend of, like, 25 years who no longer talks to me, who left me at a bar at 2 AM. Like, I don't I don't
Why
hold
did she do
and
that?
I was told that people were asking her about my porn too much.
Wow.
And, yeah, so, like, I'm my own best friend. And I think that's a reason why my boyfriend and I get along, because we're non-conventional, and, like, he's a good guy despite his record. Like, he really puts me on a pedestal, and he doesn't judge me for what I've been through or what I do. Like, he literally met me under my porn name, and we started talking under that, and I had to come clean to him and be like, "Hey, this is not my actual name. Like, you know my family. You grew up with my cousin." Um, like, come clean to him before our first date because I felt that was unfair to him, you know?
He sounds very open-minded.
Yes, he even like, he wanted me to stop doing porn at one point because he's like, "Why not go back to school? Why not you're not living up to your potential." Like, um, he wanted me to stop doing porn, and I was like, "Not until I'm at least top 100. Like, I can do that by February if I make enough content." And he was like, "So what's the solution?" So we discussed like an open relationship. We've also discussed him making porn with me. Um, he's the only guy like I've really had feelings for ever, which is crazy to say. Like I love my ex-husband, but like I wasn't in love with my ex-husband. Like I love my ex-boyfriend, but my ex-boyfriend and I had chemistry. My ex-boyfriend was the first guy I ever had chemistry with. Like when I seen him, I was like, I'm gonna fuck his brains out. Like he was that first guy to ever trigger that for me mentally.
So what you're saying is the your current boyfriend, he's somebody that you actually have a deep connection with, as
Yes.
opposed to the other
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
like, on a totally different level. And then I don't know, he gets me with, like, stupid one-liners, like, he told me, like, he manifested me, which I think is hilarious.
Hmm.
But he's like, "No, I manifested you." He's like, "I needed someone like you in my life. I manifested you." And I was like, "Ugh, what are you even talking about?" But, like, he's, like, very deep and very, like, spiritual, like and then he told me, that he poured his love into me. He seen that I was broken, so he poured his love into me.
That's
And
very sweet.
mind you, I was with my ex for 3.5 years, and he didn't even check to see how I was the week of my mom's birthday. But this guy is like, "I can see you're hurt, and I poured my love into you." Like, where is this shit coming from? You know what I mean? Like, it's weird that that's the guy who's putting me on a pedestal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not the guy
How
I
long
expect.
how long have you been
So,
together?
like, we haven't been together long. We've only
Okay.
been together, like yeah, not long.
Yeah. So
Under a
How
how
long
did
month.
is
you
not
how did you
Oh,
meet?
wait, under
we
a month, is that what
actually
you said?
under under a month, yeah. Um,
Oh, girl, I would be careful.
but
If that's the stuff he's saying to you under a month, I would be careful. That's
but
just me.
but, like yeah, but, like I said, it's a weird dynamic, like, he's known my family for years,
That doesn't
like
mean anything.
but I haven't, like but spending time like, normally, I just fuck guys and dispose them. I normally don't let guys spend the night and things like that. So, that's a big thing for me. And
Yeah.
I've told him that,
Definitely.
like, he can say, those things to me, but, like, he does have to slow him down a little bit. I'm not trying to rush into too much. He understands.
So,
The main
Stacy, can
thing
I
right
make a
now.
suggestion?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make one suggestion before we go any further. You mentioned that the DMT will help you. There's no doubt in my mind that that's some powerful stuff that definitely resets your brain and whatnot. But there is something that I know for a fact works, and they use it in therapy. You can look it up. It actually does reset your brain, and it does help, and it helps with trauma. Is ketamine. I wouldn't
Oh,
get
I
it
was
off the
gonna
street. I
ask
don't
you.
trust.
No, I
Yeah.
was gonna say they do ketamine therapy by me. We actually have a clinic right up the road from me. I just haven't tried it.
Oh, yeah, definitely give it a try. You will have, like, inner revelations about yourself, and I've done ketamine before, and I've K-holed, and I've come out of it, and I've been, like I was happy. Not happy, but I was, like, well-adjusted and, yeah, maybe happy for, like, weeks on end, and just knew things about myself that I didn't realize things about myself that I was just unattached from before. And I definitely think that ketamine therapy would definitely help. DMT for sure. Ayahuasca, absolutely.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, for sure.
Um, but ketamine, you should definitely look into.
And then, like, that's another
Ketamine,
thing
huh?
with the PTSD and the
Yes.
trauma, like, that's another reason why I think I haven't developed feelings for people, because sex to me was always just something you didn't need emotions for, because
Yeah, of course.
at first, I was one of those, "Imma save myself till marriage" people, and then I got
Mhm.
roofied and raped by 2 guys, and I was like, they already took the one thing I was saving, so fuck it, and I was able to completely unattach myself to the idea of sex and emotions,
Did you
and
grow up in a religious household?
not at all. My mom was pregnant at 16, she had her first kid at 16.
Okay.
My parents were stoners, um, like, they were super laid back, like, my brothers got to party, I was the only one who didn't get to, um,
They were laid back but abusive.
only to me, really. Um,
Okay. So you were the scapegoat child of two
I was the
narcissists.
middle child, yeah. I
Okay.
mean I mean, some of my how that meme, like, every child's raised in the same home is raised differently, has a different experience? It's very much that.
Mhm.
Um, each of us like, my older brother, is a lifetime felon. He was in and out of jail and arrested since he was, like, a teenager. Um, I was never a problem child because I could never be a problem, but everything I did was always wrong. Like, the only reason I got on AOL is because I wasn't allowed a social life, because I wasn't allowed
Right,
to
it
leave my
was an
house.
escape. Yeah, definitely it was an escape for many of us.
Like, it was
Absolutely.
forced for me, like, it was very much like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I live on a road that's 8 miles long, like, walk 2 miles to the next kid's house if they can play? Like, come on. Like, I had nothing else to do. And then I couldn't go by friends' houses every weekend. Like, I was allowed to sleep out once every couple of weeks, and I couldn't have friends over at my house. Like, I
Oh,
can't even have
man.
people over at my house now. Like, me having my boyfriend over when I did caused so much drama, it was unreal. 36 years
And
old,
this
and I
is
can't even and I can't even have people over to stay in the
right,
night.
and
But
this
my
is why
brothers
you're
could.
moving.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
moving because of job opportunity. I'm
Okay.
going to create my video game, but, like, it's kinda
Your
weird
video
to
game, can you tell us something about that?
Stacy, you're a gamer? Since when? I mean, I know you worked
Well,
at
yeah.
GameStop, but, like,
Not
I didn't know you were
lately,
a
I'm
gamer.
not a gamer. I sold my consoles to, pay for the divorce. I do have my gaming laptop, and I am on Steam. I do offer topless gaming, though, if anyone wants to fill my library. Um, but, yeah, My game, it's more like it's a marketing game targeted to women 18 to 40, and it has a social dynamic to it too. Like, I wanna teach women how to brand themselves as well as market themselves. It kinda goes side to side to with Red Flag Academy, which is my marketing school. I'm tired of people saying, like, the adult industry and the porn industry is so saturated that it's the same thing over and over again. Like, anyone can be their own brand and sell themselves or market themselves in any industry. Like, it doesn't just have to be porn. And the game teaches them that by giving them interactive tasks. Like, say, on day 5 of the game, you have to get 10 followers on your Twitter account. So you link it to your Twitter account, and you actively have to get 10 followers that day, or you're not gonna pass that level. So
Oh,
it's
so it's not
fully
just a
linked.
game, it's actually,
It's interactive
dependent.
and
Yes,
social.
okay.
So
Wow.
after you reach a certain level, you'll be able to go to, like, other people's houses and, like, collab with them.
And what is this called?
So I haven't released the name yet because I have to get it copywritten because there's a website that has the name, but it's not US, and the website's newer than my idea, so that's gonna probably
Well,
but,
what I'm wondering is, the academy that you mentioned, what's the name of
oh,
that?
Red Flag Academy, that is my school, my marketing school.
And where can we find that?
That is on Teachable. It's not fully published yet. I've been kinda slacking in that department because I'm moving, but I have a boot camp, which is about a month long, and then I have a 3-month-long course, and those range from $150 to $500, and
Mm.
I teach you everything from how to work a platform, how to pose, internet slang, um, security, like, online and offline, like, procedures from like, say you were doing a guest appearance at a bar or a club, like, proper procedure is to post your pictures an hour after you leave, just in case someone's stalking you. Like, turn off your
Okay.
location settings, post that an hour after you leave. Don't do it in real time at all.
Right.
Don't do it in
Yeah,
real time at
that
all.
makes sense, that's very logical.
And then, like, I teach internet security. Um, of course, like, I was a victim of, like, cyber attacks and shit like that. Of course, it wasn't at my home, but it
Can you
happened to
talk
me.
about that?
Yeah, I lost all my accounts as well as, all my dating profiles. I
Was it
was
somebody that we know? That's my question.
I was told that it was someone that we know within the community,
Okay.
that they had leaked my docs onto Discord channels as well as Reddit,
Horrible.
um,
That's the
as
scummiest
well
thing you can do.
as well as, you know, targeted me because I needed to get off my high horse.
Oh,
I was
wow.
unaware that I was on a high horse, though. I
Later,
mean,
I'd like to find out who this is. You don't have to say here and now, but later, you should
what's
tell us.
ironic about the whole situation is it was a guy I thought I trusted and I could trust because he was a longtime friend,
Oh,
um,
wow.
like, a longtime friend, and if it's true that it was him, like, what I'm hearing, he had no reason to do it at all. Like, he had no reason to be behind it, like, or feel that bitter because he has 2 kids, and he was basically married or was married,
Oh, okay.
and I'm not the first girl he's, like, had an internet fling for that's, like, really popular on OnlyFans or doing porn. So why do these other girls get clout and that's okay, but not me? Why is it a problem when I do it? So, I don't understand the issue there.
It's because
Like,
you're also very smart. That's, I think, part of it.
this other girl is too. She's known for like, having a hacking reputation, and nobody tells her shit, but, like, when I do it, it's a problem. Like, I don't know if it's because I don't groupie people, and I never gave a fuck, like, what they did or didn't do, like their failed attempt swats. Like, do you remember that, Chris?
Yeah, I do.
Like, when people would try and swat me and they would miserably fail? Like, I don't know what it is, but people within the internet community, they either love me or they hate me with a passion, and I just mind my own business, and I don't understand where the hostility comes from. Like, if I'm not into somebody or
Mm.
something, I just don't talk to them. Like, it's not my cup of tea. I move on. Like, these people really get in their feelings, which is hilarious to me.
Do you think it's
Funny,
because they're like the Reddit community and they think that you're just not being genuine?
But I am being genuine. Like, I'm the same person. I get told all the time, I'm the same person online that I am offline.
Yeah,
Like, I have nothing to hide at all. Like, if anything, they're the ones who are upholding a persona.
right.
Like, not me. I have nothing to hide. Like, I mean, we know, like, there's racism within, like, the internet community. So I'm sure they were loving the fact that, like, my last couple of videos were BBC videos. Like, I'm sure they had a lot. Um,
and
Yeah.
where can we find these videos?
those are on
If you
Pornhub.
Okay, Pornhub, and we search for
Alice Trips with 2 P's.
okay.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, the last 2 videos are or the fact that, like, I'm dating a black man now, I'm sure they have a lot to say about that, because they always used to talk shit, always.
Yeah, it's
And
weird that people have a lot to say, but they're the ones that favorite your sites and they look at you daily just to
exactly.
find new
Like,
material.
the
It's
hate
weird.
clicks, like,
Right.
literally screenshotting my porn. Like, who does that? You know? Or, like, making comments about, like, okay, I have pissing videos. That's a big thing. It's I mean, it's not my favorite thing, but, like, you're telling me, like, guys will pay me, like, $10 to $15 just to have videos of me peeing?
Peeing on
Like,
the toilet, or are you peeing your pants?
no, just on the toilet. They just wanna
Okay.
see the stream. If I wanted to
Okay.
pee my pants, like, they'd pay me, like, $150. I've had offers. I had a guy recently wanted to pay me for a container, like a small vial of my urine. He wanted to pay me $125
Did you
for
do it?
5 ounces. I
Did you
almost
do
did.
it?
I
Oh,
almost did. He was flying back, though. I didn't want him to get caught in TSA with my fucking urine. But, like, yeah. I've had guys pay
wow.
for my spit before. Um,
How
What about your
yeah.
much?
bath water?
Not yet, not yet. I'm sure I could do that next. Um, but yeah, like, it it's not that difficult. So, like, while these girls are
How
talking
much for
shit,
your spit? Well, they're
um,
jealous. How much for your spit?
How
so,
much
like,
for your
I have, like,
saliva?
a 6 ounce, container. It's kinda like the small ones you would I ordered just, like, little test tubes off of Amazon. Well, I don't even order them. One of my simps orders them for me. He buys me, like, massive packs. I don't even pay for my own shit. I don't remember the last time I paid for my own stuff. And I fill it up about halfway and make sure it's secure, and I tape around it, and that's, like, 30 bucks because like, it's my DNA. Like,
Yeah, how do you
you
know they're
know?
not sending it off to Ancestry DNA
I
or
already did
something?
that, so
Oh,
I mean, good luck, I know what all my
yeah.
tests say, so, I mean, they can't really
Maybe
do
they're just trying to clone you.
I mean, I was supposed to be a twin, so maybe they'll get lucky.
You were supposed to be a twin. Did you
Yeah, I
meet your
had
twin in the
disappearing
womb?
yeah, yeah, I had disappearing
Okay.
twin. Um, yeah, I also had heart surgery, I'm a heart surgery survivor. Uh,
Heart
I know,
surgery for what?
I
uh,
remember that. I
I
remember
had
you. Yeah.
patent ductus surgery as an infant. It's where, like, the patent ductus, the little, I don't know what you would call it, like, the tube doesn't fully
Right.
open, and they go
Okay. The
in and
valve.
they yeah, the whatever you wanna call it, the valve, I forget the proper name, and they open it up. I had that at 3 months old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had that happen. So I survived domestic abuse, heart surgery, tried to kill myself like 8 times. Survived that. So, I mean, I'm kinda, like, all over the spectrum. I'm just to the point to where, like, I wanna enjoy my life, and I figure if I'm gonna live it unconventionally, like, I might as well. Might as well go hard. I feel like I'm going down the porn spiral, though. Because if you look at people like literally anybody in porn, they tend to date unconventional men, and that's how I ended up
Mhm.
where I am, I think. It's just the natural course, you know what I mean? Um, like, I still have my sugar daddy, I talked to him today. Um, he mentioned me moving in with him today, and I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to halt those plans. I'm not moving in with you anymore." And he was like, "Why? What's going on?" I told him, and he was like, "That's cool." He's like, "As long as we get to see each other, I'm cool with it," you know? He was joking that I was gonna be his 3rd wife. Mind you, my sugar daddy's only, like, 48, so he's kinda young.
Your sugar
Um,
daddy. So, how does your boyfriend deal with the fact that you have a sugar daddy?
well, I told him, like, "Daddy, my sugar daddy's pretty easy. I don't even really have to fuck my sugar daddy because I worked out an agreement with him to where he just has to watch me fuck other people, and I get paid a bonus
Okay.
for
So
that."
he's a cuckold.
Well, he's not, because he has threesomes with college girls all the time. It's just with me that I convinced him to do that.
Okay.
I was like, "You can have fun with your college girls, but let's spice it up with me."
Men
So,
are just they'll do anything. Men
and
are
then
just
we
easy.
kinda had an offer though. He was like, "Okay, but, like, you have to blow me before I fuck somebody else, whatever." He wanted me to be a cuck queen, and I was like, "Sure, whatever. I'll give you a $200 blowjob, whatever." Like, whatever. I don't have to
Whatever.
fuck you, I'll suck your dick for 200 bucks,
Yeah. Whatever.
whatever. Like, you know? And bills are getting paid. My boyfriend wasn't too happy about it when he first learned the details, but I made a deal with him. I was like, "We can go be swingers," because I'm very active in the LS community. I worked a bunch of swingers events, as an ambassador and things like that. So, I mean, I'm very educated on the community, and it's the best way to go, like, if you want no strings attached, like, I don't want any of his hot like, he brought up, like, his hot mugshot groupies. I was like, "No, we're not dealing with them. I don't need those hood rats." And no, not dealing with that bullshit.
Why?
So,
Yeah.
What comes with the territory with that?
a lot of them like to chase inmates, and then, it's a lot of drama. Even though they say it's no strings attached, they get, like, territorial, and it's just, like, it's not worth it for me. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, they're not gonna catch feelings, this, that, and the other." I was like, "But they wanna fuck you for association." And I'm not about that. Like, that's not cool to me.
Fuck you for
Like,
association.
yes. Yeah, because he went viral for being a hot mugshot.
I see. I see. Okay. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen some of those mugshots.
And
Gorgeous.
I'll send you his hot mugshot, actually. And
Okay.
it yeah. Because it doesn't say his name or anything. Um, but hopefully nobody here looks him up. We may need to, like, blur him if
Oh, I don't
yeah,
think we
yeah.
should put that in the show
Yeah,
notes.
yeah. No, no. But, I'll send it to you for reference. But, so whatever, like, he went viral for that, and I was like, "I'd rather if we're gonna fuck somebody or if you're gonna fuck somebody, I don't wanna have to see them all the time, just like you don't wanna have to see them all the time." You know, like, with my sugar daddy, I can hit him up once or twice a month, be like, "Hey, I need some money, let's go hang out." You know? Like, I'm on rotation with 4 other girls.
Okay.
So, yeah, yeah.
Do you
And this
know
is
them?
no, no. Oh, no. So, like, we live in between three major colleges, and he just picks up different college girls. But he did pick up a former sugar baby he had, who I share a name with. He actually ran into her at the strip club that he went to, and she was working there, and he hadn't seen her in like a year, and he took her back on as a sugar baby. And he was telling me about it. And he's like, "You're the only one I talk to who doesn't get jealous, really. The other girls, they say they're into the other girls and threesomes, but you can tell they fight for attention." I'm like, "No, sex is sex. Like, it's just sex. Like,
Right.
I'm not dating you. I don't care who you stick your dick in. But like, as long as from the beginning the rules are ironed out, like, I don't care. Like with my boyfriend, okay, cool. Like, we'll fuck other people. Let's just figure out the dynamic, and it'll be fine." You
And
know?
I guess you did say sex is sex, but let's say your boyfriend is fucking a bunch of other women. It's not gonna bother you at all. Not at all?
I feel like as long as it's in the proper environment. Like, say we went to, like, a swingers club
No, no,
and
that's different. But if he
yeah.
has like a consistent, a couple of girls
Oh,
on the
no,
side.
that's what we agreed on. We're gonna do, like, the swingers thing. We're not
Oh,
gonna do a couple we swing with all the time. They're not gonna be like that.
so it's not an open relationship. He goes and fucks these like two other girls, one other girl, and
No.
you're the main girlfriend. Okay.
Oh, no, 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 and we both agreed we don't agree with the poly lifestyle, because
Right.
I it took me long enough to get feelings for one person. I
Right.
I'm not meant for multiple people.
The
I
poly lifestyle doesn't make much sense to me personally, and no offense to anybody who lives it, right? I do know people who live the poly
Yeah, I know
lifestyle.
people who
I
love it, that enjoy it.
Same, same, but I just don't understand it really. I mean, unless you're gonna all live together and I don't know, you got some kind of you wanna raise families together and you're consider yourselves married. I don't understand, like, having,
No,
like,
like, there's,
2
Yeah,
a
girlfriends.
I don't
guy that
understand it either. I never
races.
have. It's always been a
Doesn't make
weird kind
sense.
of yeah, it really doesn't.
I mean, there's a guy who, I was supposed to actually hang out with that's poly, and, like, him and his wife travel all over the US and go hang out with people and date people, and I was one of those people, and he just got back from Egypt. He was deployed for 6 months, and he's like, "I wanna see you before I go see my wife." And I was like, "How is that gonna work? How is she gonna like that? Like, you just been deployed for 6 months."
Hmm,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like, and then one of his guys that he was in a unit with actually, like, has a crush on me and hits me up all the time, and that guy doesn't know that he's poly. So, like, they can't even comment on the same Facebook status. Because then he has to explain why he's flirting with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird to me.
Mm,
I'm not against, like, that lifestyle. I grew up in a house with an open marriage. That was normal for me.
Right.
It just to me, monogamy was weird, yet my parents tried to force monogamy on me. So, I guess it's because it was what they were taught was normal, and they wanted me to be normal, but monogamy was never normal to me. I was a serial monogamous, and monogamy never worked for me. But that doesn't mean, like, I wouldn't be opposed to, like, trying monogamy again, just not anytime soon. Like, let me have my
Not
fun first.
now.
Not
Right.
now. Let me have my fun first, and then maybe I'll consider it. But I feel
Yeah.
like, why would I wanna be monogamous during a sexual awakening? Like,
Yeah,
that
especially with your Pornhub career taking off.
yeah, that blows my mind. Like I said, I I'll be like, "I don't understand how these people even know me." And then I'll be like, "Oh, never mind. I do. I do." Like, they had some guy hit me up from Knoxville today, and I was like, "How'd you get my information?" And he's like, "Pornhub." I was like, "Oh, okay. That explains it." Yeah. Like, I had
Makes
no
sense.
idea. I had no idea how he got my information, but he got it from Pornhub.
Yeah, because you're
Hmm.
Alice Trips.
And I was like, "Alright, cool." Yeah, I got that name because the first couple of months I was unemployed, I ate so many shrooms. So many shrooms. Oh, man, and my
You
friend
were
was like
tripping.
he was like, "Why don't we just make it Alice Trips?" And I was like, "Let's do it."
I think
It's
that's
so
an amazing name. Alice
it's
Trips.
so funny. I was like,
Stacey, did
"Let's."
you think of that name while you were tripping?
He did. We were
Makes
fucking
sense.
tripping, and he was like, "Alice Trips," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And, oh, man, if you've seen some of, like, the first content I tried to make, we were so fucked up trying to make content. Like, I'm shocked some of the pictures came out well. Like, but I was like, "Whatever, I need to do this, like, I just need to make money." But I was like, it's nothing that I haven't done before either. It was just hard going from private sales to a platform sale to where I had to advertise, you know? Like, to where I had
Yeah.
to tell my family, like, "Oh, hey, sorry, guys, if you see me bring up OnlyFans, kinda have to make money right now."
Yeah.
And that is my co is actually doing an anti-porn campaign right now to where
Why?
she's
Well, you
saying
were talking about this.
porn addiction is as bad as any type of narcotic or drug.
Do you take that
Um,
What?
as a personal attack?
I
I
I
would.
don't have I don't have any hard feelings with that side of the family, so I don't, but at the same time, like, you're aware this is how I'm making my income. Like, you're a millionaire. Like,
It's definitely an attack. I mean, I'm sorry, I
you're
don't know these
making
people. Maybe it isn't, but it feels like sounds like it might be that they're going after you. Like it's a backhanded way of just insulting you or trying to bring you down.
but, like,
Like they don't
they're
approve and they're letting you know it.
oh, they definitely don't approve, but, like I said, they're millionaires, and
That
I'm
does not
struggling
matter.
for money, and,
Are
like,
they conservative?
a little bit. Um, like, my cousin, whose wife it is, he used to work for US Customs. He went to a Catholic school, things like that. They have a very traditional family, but at the same time, it's like you can't act like you've never done anything in your life. You know what I mean? Like, you're literally watching me drown financially, and instead of like, "Oh, hey, I can give you a small loan," you're like, "Let's take down what's making you money." You know?
Well, they're never gonna stop
Yeah.
porn. So
Oh,
Absolutely
no,
not,
no.
dude. Try
But
as you
it's
might, it won't
but
work.
that's another thing I found funny, like, all my social media outlets, everything I used to make money, people would report. So I don't know if it was my family or just the people who didn't like me from other resources, like Discord and things like that.
yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, for sure. Like,
Right.
it's just survival, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, and nobody should really be judging you for how you're making a living because you're not hurting anybody, right? So if it's porn, especially, you're through a screen, and a lot of girls do it, and they get my respect, right? I do respect them for it. So, and I think that they should get respect. Why not? Why not?
For
If there's a market for it, men are looking at it, and if people want to say like your cousin's wife, oh, we should get rid of it. I wonder what really the motivation is behind that. Is it is it jealousy? I don't want to say that because that's an easy answer, but is it? Are you intimidated in some kind of a way? What is I can understand why they say it because, porn does hijack the brain if you're like sitting there masturbating all day long. I mean, it does like chemically, it
Well,
does
I thought it
chemically
was
like mess
like,
you up, but
she
It
has a
does. It does.
teenage son, but I was like, he's only like 14. Like, she has a teenage son who
On
plays
at
sports.
14 years old, you knew what we were doing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but he
all of
look
us.
at him
Absolutely.
in travel
Abso-fucking-lutely.
sports. He's, like, playing sports 24/7. So,
Oh.
like, I don't even think he has time to process what porn even is.
He knows
Like,
what porn is, come on.
well, yeah,
Absolutely. I
yeah.
knew what it was before then. Absolutely.
Same. I knew it what it was when I was 8, 7,
Yeah. Yeah.
fortunately.
And what's crazy is, like, if they're worried about it affecting him potentially, like, having a sports career, all the guys I know who play college sports and potentially going pro, porn's the only thing that saves them during the season. Because if they go out and they fuck the groupies, that distracts them.
Wow.
Like, porn literally saves them during the season. I know because
Yeah.
they buy my porn.
I bet the coach you shouldn't say that if they're underage.
Oh, no, they're not underage. They're in
Oh,
college.
okay.
They're
Okay.
college age. They're over the age of 21. Um, yeah, and that some of them won a title last year in football. Some of them won baseball titles on the college circuit.
Wow.
Um, yeah, they're very yeah, and
Alice Trips, making money.
Yeah.
Wow.
but I just try not to sleep with the college guys because very taboo in the South if you ruin someone's sports career, even if they fuck it up. So I don't want to
Right.
be the reason why, say, LSU loses out on a title.
Right.
Because, yeah, I could have had my turn with quite a few guys from LSU on their athletics, like their baseball team, football team, things like that during their seasons. And I was like, no, just buy my content because if you lose these games, I'm not getting lynched.
Yeah. We're not
Because,
trying to pull a Manti Te'o over here. You know what I mean?
yeah, but I wouldn't be invisible. They would just fucking lynch me. It'd be like the KKK was outside my house.
I've
Yeah.
heard that
Like,
they take it very seriously in the South, like,
yeah, I was like, let
extremely.
someone else's mom fuck that up. I'm not gonna be responsible for it. Like, but
Right.
yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, listen, Stacey, you have been an amazing guest. Like, we enjoyed speaking to you so much. I know I did. Um, Super intelligent, just super interesting. We loved talking to you, but we're gonna wrap it up now. I think we're going on, I think 2 hours almost, maybe
Yeah.
even longer than that. Yeah, a long time. And I know that you have to go hunt for simps. So
For
She has to go
sure.
sim hunting. Yeah.
For
And
sure, you
tripping.
guys. Yes, and tripping. You guys have a great night, and hopefully we'll continue with part 2 later.
Well, yeah, thanks for coming
absolutely.
on. Before we head out, Stacy, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you if they want to?
Yeah, so I'm onlyfans.com/Alice Trips, TRIPPS. And then you can also find me on Pornhub by looking up Alice Trips, that's TRIPPS. And I'm also on Twitter, which is Alice is Trippin', spelled the same way, with 2 P's. That's the easiest way to find me. And I also have an Instagram, which is Bitchy After Dark V2. So those are the
Nice.
Nice.
easiest ways to find me and contact me. Um, I have menus that I rarely use, but any questions, whatever you want to know. And I'm sure you can contact Chris and Seta if you have any questions for the next show so we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Well,
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening, and thanks to our wonderful guests.
yeah.
Have a great night.
Thank you all